Hey everybody, welcome back to the Business of Boutique Fitness podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Caroline. I am a team captain here in the Grow Your Studio Profitably program at Studio Grow and also a studio owner myself. And I am excited to be joined with Rachel.
Hi everyone. I am Rachel. I'm a coach and consultant for Studio Grow. I came from fitness franchising, and I've also owned my own wellness business for the last 20 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we're talking about an exciting topic today, something that I know we both spend a lot of time talking about with clients, and that is intro offers.
Yes. I know it's not like a sexy topic, but it's like kind of a make or break for me, actually.
No, totally. And I think like whenever we bring a new client into the program, I feel like we always start with the intro offer, and we spend a lot of time there because there are so many different things to think about in terms of the intro offer.
Oh, for sure. Even just getting people into the habit of tracking leads. Yes. And how many of them get into an intro offer can be this a mind-blowing data point. And that kind of helps us dictate. And then do we convert after that? It kind of helps us dictate what should an intro journey look like.
Yeah. And I think you bring up the idea of tracking things as like step one. And yes, like don't start changing your intro offer if you don't know what's happening in it already. Mm-hmm. And like, listen, if you don't know what your conversion rate from lead to intro or intro to membership is, you're not alone. I think we see a lot of people that are in that same spot, but just start tracking it and see what's working and not working and edit from there.
Yeah. And I know, so there are lots of different intro types. I think we've seen them all, good and bad. And good meaning like, does it convert? Does it work for you? And then we've also seen, I know like, you're going to share about a client that had one that worked forever, then suddenly didn't.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like, you know, we can't also definitively say, here's the intro offer for yoga studios and for Pilates studios and group fitness. Like everyone's studio is so different. Their avatar is so different. What's going to resonate with people and get them to convert, even their market is going to really differ. And so I think if we start by breaking down different types of intro offers, might be a good place to start. So high level, we can look at time-based offers, value-based offers, and benefit-based offers. Why don't we start with time? Give me a couple examples of a time-based intro.
So I think our most popular is 2 weeks unlimited. Mm-hmm. So there's a time cap around it. There's some urgency, a 7-week trial. I 30-day, 21-day jump start. Although I'm going to tell you that's a lengthy intro. But maybe it might work for some people. But
totally.
That's a long time to hold someone's attention.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a good point is that's my thought too. Like a 30-day, I'm like, ooh, that's a long time. That's a lot of messaging. That's a lot of kind of hand holding, which isn't bad, but sometimes it's nice to just kind of get them going. And also with those longer intros, I feel like sometimes we're waiting forever to see those conversions. And then we're like, I need 12 memberships this month and it's day 28, but I've got all these intros ending and it's like, the urgency there. So you brought that 2 week. That is what I see as the sweet spot for a lot of studios. But again, it differs wildly. So what types of things do we look for in a time-based intro offer that is working really well or maybe isn't working well?
So I would say it gives people time to engage in all of your services, which is why the 2 week, because most people have a main modality and then a couple other class types. The 7-day works great, or like a 3-day intro on like personal training where that's the only thing you offer. So I was thinking about like how many types of services do they need or want to experience before they say yes. Even 7 days, like, can we make sure, can they get in here? You know, like if we sign them up on Monday and that kicks off their trial, do they have literally like basically 4 or 5 days to get in? So like just thinking about, I don't know, the reality of it. And then I like the 2 week because it gives, we recommend like 13 points of contact.
Yeah.
And so if we shorten that up to like a 2-day or a 1-day pass or a free class, like that doesn't give us time to follow up in a way that might be more efficient if we just, had them come try something and then tried to like close them right there.
Totally. Yeah. I want to have that next opportunity to bring you in. And what I love about those time-based intros is I can get you in for that first class. And maybe it's your first time trying this modality and it was like way different than I thought it was, but I'm excited. I want to come back. I have implemented my client journey a check-in so I can get you excited to come back. I can kind of see how someone's going to use it and maybe that first week and then kind of start talking membership options and educating them on, hey, based on your usage in week 1, I think this would be a great spot. And if I can't close the sale on that first time I'm asking for the membership, I have another opportunity to bring them into the studio again.
Yes. Yeah, that's such a great point because now you'll have some data like, wow, and the last 2 weeks, you were able to come 3 times a month for 6 months. That will be the perfect fit for you because you're already doing it.
Yeah, and those membership prescriptions are so strong. Like, it is so true. We have these tiered memberships and we have so many options and I can hit a pricing landing page and just hit that decision fatigue. But if I, as the salesperson, can say like, hey, I saw you love the 6 a.m. classes. It looks like you really gravitated toward this class style. I think it's our 3 time a month or 12 time a month, 3 time a week membership. That's perfect for you. And you would say it so much more eloquently than I did, but you're going to come closer to closing the sale.
Yes. What about, okay, so that was time-based. What's an example of a value-based?
I feel like the easiest one is a first class free, which, listen, like first class free can be done beautifully. But more often than not, I see a client come in with a first class free and they're like, it's not converting. I get a ton of leads, I get a ton of volume, but they never come back. And I don't know why.
My suspicion would be like, the quality of lead, right? What type of quality does it bring? Someone who's not willing to put at least a drop in or $20 down. It's not a great sign that they might be able to continue.
Yeah.
If it's free.
Totally. And I think lower cost is going to bring us higher volume and that can sound amazing, but we also have to think in the context of what our studio can support. If I only have 6 reformers and some really dedicated members and these free class people coming in and taking those spots, that's not a great feeling for my members. So yeah, really taking that into account as I offer this. So if I have a first class free or some iteration of that, what do you think makes it work really well? Because it can work and we do see that from time to time.
I would say your automation begins like the second they sign up because they'll have to register before. You'll have their data and that kicks off automation right there. Because again, you kind of just have like that visit and maybe a few days leading up to it and after. So kicking off that automation, letting them know your membership options, schedule a call with us, whatever that kicks off that client journey. And then that fast follow, like, thank you for class, rate us, how did it go? And using a lever could be great too. So like, hey, if you sign up before, like if their class was on Monday, sign up before Friday, get 25% off your first month. So really like hitting them hard with the experience, the automation and the follow-up, even before they attend class, like sending them everything that they might need to know.
Yeah. And I mean, you brought up those 13 points of contact and the hard thing is like, we still kind of need that in a first class free scenario. So if I don't have those additional touch points baked in, the times they're going to be in the studio, I really have to get creative in how I'm reaching out to the client.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even just getting on the phone or trying to capture people before they leave. Kind of what things that we've talked about in the past, like making sure you have that strong sales process ready to go and someone who is going to kind of be relentless in that short follow-up window.
Yeah. Well, and I will say I have a client who she doesn't necessarily do a first class free, but she's a personal training studio and her studio comes at a higher cost because she really wants those long-time dedicated members who are coming in multiple times a week. And instead of offering a free first session, because that's a big use of her time and energy. She'll do, kind of a no sweat opportunity to bring people in. It's a 1 hour session where I can kind of get a feel for what you're doing, essentially do an intake, understand your goals, your movement history. I think especially in these like one-on-one modalities, it has to be a personality fit too, if we're going to work together long term. And then she can really ease into, okay, here's the plan that I would recommend. Do you want to go forward here? And it's almost like a secondary intro. So we've got this first free opportunity that funnels into an intro that we know we can convert, and we get those more quality leads at that second stage.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of I have a client that does something similar, but in a group setting. So it's Pilates. So I think she only has 8 or 10 reformers, but she'll do a monthly, she labels it as a workshop. And essentially anyone who wants to come try it who's new, it's more of like an intro class. So like, this is a reformer, this is how we change the springs, and it's heavy on the education. Yeah. And then uses that as kind of a soft, not even a soft, but like she does a price presentation at the end. Like, hey, if you love this experience, book a call with me. Let's do some goal setting. Here are our options. If you purchase today, you get, again, that lever. So she does something similar, but more in a group setting, an introduction where people feel comfortable, right? Learning something new is scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you just show up. But if you're with a bunch of other new people also learning, it ends up being a great experience for everybody.
Yeah. And I've seen some of our more, we'll say unique modalities, or maybe not unique, but modalities that have that layer of like, I wonder what that's like bungee fitness. Yes. Or even reformer Pilates. Like reformers are scary to some people. Having that kind of opportunity for people to come in and experience it. And again, that low stakes environment, and kind of cut those nerves down, get to know you and your studio and all of those things, they're very much more likely to kind of funnel into an offer. I think there's something to be said, like if I will give you my time, I'm probably likely to give you a bit of money in return if it fits what I need.
Yeah. Okay, and what about our last one was benefit-based intro offers? How would you define that?
Yeah, these are interesting. And again, I think these can kind of fit into multiple studio types and maybe something you offer seasonally. A lot of hot yoga studios that we work with, we will see that kind of, it's an uphill battle to taking your first power vinyasa in a 100-degree room, and we recognize that. So what about a beginner's series? Not that one-off workshop, because we know if we're talking in the context of heat, I have to acclimate to the heat, which means I have to come back.
Yes.
And also, and this is true of any modality, like there's a lot of jargon and terminology that I may not know right off the bat. So if we can get people committed to, say, a 4-week series, and here I would really urge clients to look at what your average client utilization is. Are they coming 2 times a week? Is it 1 time a week? And base it off of that. Now, this is going to come at a higher price point, so it's a bit of a higher ticket, but that's nice because we've got those more quality leads. And if we pair it with a really great journey, and we can also kind of create this cohort community of we're all trying something new together and we're in it. It's kind of workshop-y, more one-on-one with the instructor. I see that work really well.
Oh, good. I just love I just continue to see how important community is. Yeah. And if you can make people feel that right off the bat, like, hey, we've got you, you're cared for, we're professionals in this, we're experts in our area, it can really make a big, I think a lot of people bring in kind of like trauma from past, like bad experiences or not having a community. And so even just kind of showcasing that, it can be really, really powerful up front in that first introduction for who you are. Like, hey, it's actually not just me or this building, like we're a whole community here.
Yeah, and we can really do that with any type of intro offer through our client journey. And this is where I think, step one, when working with a client, we want to define what's working, what's not working, get an intro offer that we want to test, because again, we might change it. Yeah. And then we really look at the client journey and like, what are the touch points, both manual, like picking up the phone and talking to people in person, and automated, are going to allow us to ease clients into this new routine, and get them excited to commit to us long term.
Yeah. So why do you think, and maybe it's about like the metric that we choose to define success, but what would make a trial offer fail or like unsuccessful?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking conversion rates, I know that we generally base, success off of foundational metrics of I would love to see a studio for intro to lead conversion get to that 40-50%. And in terms of a group class, an intro to membership conversion ideally around 60%. If we're talking one-on-one private sessions, I think getting up to about 80% is absolutely achievable because it's so personalized. And so, if I'm looking at a studio and their conversions are 10%, 12%, that's probably a signal to me that we need to look at changing up the intro offer. And again, it becomes a matter of testing. Like maybe we're going to change the offer itself. Maybe we're going to leave the offer itself, but we're going to change the messaging. Or maybe it's that experience in the studio that is just lacking. I think there's so many things that we could change. So we have to kind of look at the holistic experience and pick one variable to test, run with that for like a month, and then reassess. Ideally, we're tracking, but often the trap we fall into is like, it could be any of these things, so I'm going to change all of them at once, and now I don't know what made it jump or decline. Like, it's tough.
Yeah, I like the kind of experimenting. And I also think there's a place for maybe not going crazy here, but maybe multiple intro offer types. Yeah. Whether some of them is kind of a permanent and maybe the other is a new test. Or again, if you're someone who I have some clients that have so many things happening under one roof. It's hard. Like some people might just want reformer. Some people might just want strength training. Some people might just want dance. And so without overwhelming the consumer or the prospect, even having 1 to 2 intro offers to choose from too.
Yeah, and when I think of that, I think of like really creatively designed landing pages. So again, we're not overwhelming. I can really look at like, oh, that is me, that speaks to me. This is the intro offer for me versus this one. And I have a client who I think has done it really well. They have some unique offerings. They have yoga, they have massage, and they have a salt cave. And you can do any of these as one-offs, but you can also do this kind of like full experience. And I think especially in those multi-modality or maybe studios that are introducing recovery, the way you kind of weave in your ideal clients' ideal usage of the studio into an intro can be really fun to play with.
Ooh, I love it. Because again, it's about kind of giving without overwhelm. And also, showcasing that you have a specific point of view. This is what we do best here. Still allowing for some flexibility and menu of options. Because I know I've joined some places and been like, oh, I'm here for this. Mm-hmm. And then, a week later, a month later, I'm like, oh, I actually love this.
Yeah. And that's like the fun educational piece, which I feel like a lot of us as owners can really run with. Because again, we started our studios for a reason. We're really passionate about this modality. And I'm having a lot of fun with this as I design the client journey for my new studio, where I'm looking at, okay, what if someone comes in and takes a yoga class for the first time? How am I going to get them to try the group fitness class and vice versa? Like those can be different avatars, but we can also highlight to them how doing strength training can help your yoga practice and vice versa, and just like open their eyes to that idea.
Oh, sure. Okay. And if I know we've been going like on our different intro types, but what would you say, what makes an intro a high converting intro offer?
I think it's so many things. I think if we talk about a high converting intro offer, what it tells me is that the experience in the studio is amazing. And I think that's where we have to start. Like if you get people in and they're just like, yes, this is where I want to be, that's great. But we need to be able to follow it up with a really strong client journey. And when we look at the client journey for the intro, it becomes really important to touch all of those different buyer types. So, not to generalize, but a lot of the boutique fitness demographic is that humanistic buyer where I need to be able to see myself as a happy member of the studio to make the purchase, to commit to a year-long membership. And so testimonials, like client testimonials, can be really strong here. And then we also have to think of the other buyers, those methodical buyers who have all of the questions. And listen, that can be overwhelming, but we probably get the same questions coming through our info emails. So pulling those like top 10 questions. And I always think of, if we come back to like those initial emails you send in your intro, answer all those like, where do I park? how early should I get here? What do I need to bring? What do I need to know? And then later in your journey, you can filter in all of the membership questions. And then also looking at those types of buyers who need urgency and scarcity, which I can't resonate with personally, but it works for a lot of people. If like there is a deal here and it expires tomorrow, and this is where I'll see clients have a lot of success with layering and even like 3 emails on the last day of an intro to highlight the urgency of this deal.
Oh, I'm usually like on the emotional buyer side, but then once in a while I'm like,
sure,
man, that is a good deal.
That is a good deal.
Purchase.
Yeah. And if the experience in your studio has been amazing and they are like, I do feel better, like, okay, I'll do it.
Oh, good. I love it. Okay, what would be like if someone wanted to kind of like reassess, look at their intro, like what are kind of your takeaways from creating a great intro offer that's successful?
Yeah. I mean, I would start looking at, again, average utilization of your studio. How often are members using the studio, and kind of work backwards to get a type of intro that works for you there. Then again, look at the touch points. How many touch points do you have? You probably need more than you think you do. And make sure we're differentiating, like some email, some text, some in-person, some phone, because not every person likes to be spoken to in the same way. And I will say, like, even if no one responds to any of the outreach, I have certainly seen those members that, again, don't respond to anything, but people like later down the line, it was so sweet of you to offer all of that support in the journey. I'm like, you never said anything, but I'm glad it made a difference for you. Glad to have you here. And I think something else to think on is you can have all of these things in place. You can have a really high converting intro, and then at some point, maybe it stops working. And that's like the trial and error part is tough. I'm working with a client right now who had an intro that used to convert beautifully and now it's not. And so we're reassessing everything. And it's a tough thing to deal with, but that's kind of the fun of business ownership. I think at some point is like, does this marketing thing work? Does this intro work? Does this touch point work? What about this word? Does this work?
Yeah. There's so many little things for people to kind of grab onto. So, that's so good. Well, I think that we have a good like sense of intro offers, kind of how to audit, how to move through it, not be afraid to experiment. So if you are running an intro offer in your studio or you're not sure, like, is this working? Please comment, let us know. And if you are following us or watching us on any of our social channels, please like, share, subscribe, and we will see you on our next episode.